What's up, guys? Thank you for listening to the Overflow Podcast.
The name of this podcast is inspired by Psalms 23:5, where David talks about how his cup overflows with God's joy, mercy, and peace all throughout his life.
Each week, we'll be talking about how to live in the overflow of God, and we'll walk it out in our everyday lives, not just on Wednesdays and Sundays, but each and every day.
Welcome to the Overflow Podcast. This is episode 1, and we're here with Pastor Trey. So we're going to ask Trey a couple questions. Might get heated, might not. You never know.
Yeah.
Never know around here.
Yep. So this is our youth pastor, Trey. I'm JJ, and this is...
I'm Mallory.
And we just want to start off this episode by asking them questions. So...
I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm nervous too.
I know, this is the first episode. It's kind of like, ugh.
Under pressure.
And
Okay.
Trey does not know any of the questions that we're asking him because I forgot to send them to him. So, sorry, Trey.
Rapid fire.
Well, so what did you do before becoming a youth pastor?
I was goofing off. No, but, well, I worked for the Charlotte Hornets for 6 years, part-time. I did a lot of cool things with them. And then I worked for NBC Charlotte, news station. I was there full-time for 6 years with them and sort of worked my way up through the chain there. And yeah, you know, my dream was to be the next Ryan Seacrest of country music. And so I pursued that for a while. And I describe my testimony a little bit as like Jonah in the whale.
Yeah.
You know, like I was just, you know, I had the job, had the dream job, and working my way up the ladder, but there's just no peace, no joy. And you know, the Lord used that to steer me in a different direction.
Yeah.
Were you saved whenever you were like working those jobs, or had you gotten saved before then and just felt conviction about it?
Yeah, I got saved. I got saved when I was 13 years of age. So, you know, sometimes we journey off like the prodigal son.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. So do you want to tell them about like you meeting or seeing MJ and Kobe and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, the position with the Hornets, got to do a lot of cool things and be on the court with them. Got to,
It's crazy.
you know,
Right.
ride the elevators
I
with
always think that's
MJ. Got to travel to China with them, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know, that's kind of crazy.
And, like imagine having that job and then God calls you out of it. Like, like that's so crazy.
Yeah.
But I was talking to JJ the other day, and I was like, it's so crazy how we can look at celebrities and like put them on such a pedestal and like idolize them, because like, would you be that excited if you were in an elevator with Jesus?
Yeah.
And so it's like, who, like, I'm sure you had to ask yourself, who am I picking? Like, am I picking Jesus, or am I picking these celebrities in this life of like fun and happiness that I've always wanted?
Yeah, and well, when you know, we sort of have this view of celebrities, but you know, when you get to know them, things change a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, they're
Yeah.
different than what you think they are. So,
So what like led you into becoming a youth pastor or just into ministry?
well, I wish I could just like put my finger on one spot, like this was it.
Yeah.
But for me, it was sort of just a bunch of things just over my life that I'm here where I am today. I always heard it my whole life, you know, hey, you're going to be a preacher one day, you're going to be a pastor one day. And like I was like, nah, that's not for me. Don't want that. I want to be the next Ryan Seacrest of country music. But, you know, and I heard stories of like when I was a young guy, like I'd get up on the well in my grandma's well house, and I was all decked out in a suit, and I was just out there preaching. I don't remember a lot of that, but they was telling me I just get up there preaching and doing that. And so, no, it was just a course of events just all throughout my life that got me where I am.
How did you get that position like here though? Like, how did God just like open doors for you? Like, how'd that work out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been a member here for a very long time. And I remember when I went to Pastor Dennis and I said, I think the Lord's calling me to ministry. And, you know, he directed me, hey, well, you need to go on and get some more education. And so I went to Liberty University online and got that. And then, yeah, the Lord just sort of opened the door, and I had a position here for me, and thankful for Pastor Dennis, you know, believing in me and giving me a shot. And putting me on. But it's been a good ride.
Yeah.
Did you know that like some of the challenges of becoming a youth pastor were like what they are? Because like I think about you don't communicate the same way that teenagers do, and like I don't know, just like how do you tie that into being a husband? Because I'm sure it's hard to have like a job like this.
And also, like we just got done going to like a youth conference, and those who've been to a youth conference or a camp, they know how like the youth get and how the kids are, and they're crazy, they're terrible. So it's just like something like it's that on top of other things. Like how challenging is that to you?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. When I got moved to a youth pastor position, because we had to shuffle around and do some things. At first, I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be rough." Like, I was like, "Lord, Lord, what are you doing to me?" Like youth, you know what I'm saying? But now I love it. I love it, and I think it sort of took me, maybe 3 years, sort of just to get in the saddle a little bit, to navigate, learn the culture, learn the youth. But yeah, I don't know what the question was, but we might have to edit.
No, you're good. What do you think? Like, how did you figure out? Okay, you're a husband. So, like, when you and Sarah are off on a date and somebody calls you and they need you, like, how do you work about that?
I guess it's just one of those challenges in like being in ministry and being a part of the church. Like, I know, like I've always heard like pastors, they're always busy. Like people always take credit away from them and say things, but they're always at hospitals and on phone calls, and they're praying, doing sermons all the time. So like, it's pretty challenging.
It comes with the territory. Just a lot. There's a lot, but I've had to learn where I just got to set boundaries. There's some times where, I'll call somebody back. I just won't pick up immediately. I just got to have healthy boundaries in my life. Because my first ministry is my wife.
Yeah.
So, if I don't got that right, then everything else is not going to be right.
When you went into youth ministry, I've heard you say this before. You said, like you're accountable for all of our souls, like everybody in youth and everybody in young adults. You're accountable for like all of our souls. Did you realize that, like coming into youth ministry?
Yeah, I should have, but I didn't. But I mean, it is. It's a lot of pressure, because one day I'm going to stand before God and He's going to be like, okay, how did you shepherd? How did you lead? How did you feed?
Yeah. And
I'm going to hold an account for that.
That's scary.
It's very scary.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be careful, I mean, we need to pray, but you also need to be careful what you pray for, because if the Lord, if we're praying, man, 100 youth, 120 youth, 150 youth, man, that's a lot of pressure, because I'm going to be held accountable. But no, that's the weight of it. That's the part of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So
that's why I always get nervous when I preach. Like I get nervous. I get butterflies. And sometimes like I'm just like there was one service recently at a Sunday morning. I was back there just trying not to throw up before I went up there. I mean, it
I don't blame you.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. But.
Is that how it is once you get up there? Are you still like that?
No, once I get up there and get going, I start settling in and just seeing where the Holy Spirit wants to work and just go at it.
I've always wondered that.
Yeah, I would throw up. I would not be able to do that.
Yeah.
So if y'all don't know anything, like Trey came to me and JJ about this podcast, but like JJ had been working on his own stuff, like with a podcast. If you want to talk about that, babe.
Yeah. So, I had this podcast and I was doing it with my friend. His name is Carter, and we did it in my living room, and the lighting was terrible. My camera was my phone. Yeah, the lighting was bad. For those who don't know me, I have a family, and it's like 8 people in the house. So we had to wait till like midnight till everybody's asleep, and so it was just kind of rough. And so we were thinking about moving or just going all in, buying a bunch of equipment, doing our own thing, and moving into one of Carter's rooms that his sister recently moved out from, and we was literally about to go all in, spend a bunch of money, and kind of just do it. But the Lord provided, and like last second, Trey came in. I don't even think I've told you this.
No,
yet.
yeah, I'm just learning this.
Yeah, well,
pretty cool.
Well, the crazy thing is, a few days before, Carter was like, "Well, I can't do that no more. Something happened with the room. So I was like, oh, okay. And then a few days later, you came to me, said that, and I was like, and actually I was praying about it too and everything. So this whole podcast is really just a big God thing. God really provided, not just for me, but for like all of us. So it was really cool how God worked in that way.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how God's moving in this generation. I mean, He is like, there's a flame that's lit, and people are getting saved, and a generation's just hungry and seeking. And sort of why I reached out to JJ, I was watching a podcast by Jensen Franklin. I love that guy. I love listening to him and preach. And I was listening to one of his podcasts he was doing on mentoring pastors and different things. And he said something. He said, we've got to get where this generation is. And he said, well, where's this generation? Well, they're on podcast, right? And if that's where they are, then that's where we need to be. And, trying to reach them and get to them. So I was like, yeah, man, we need a podcast. And I thought, Mallory, she was doing interviews for us. I knew you were already into podcasts, but you did the interviews for us at the softball tournament that we did. I was like, man, she's a natural. So I thought, man, these two, they've got it. They're gonna roll with this, and so yeah, here we are, Overflow. Shout out to Jeff for helping do all
Jeff
this,
hooked us
and
up.
Mallory
really
and
nice.
JJ and decorating and setting all this up. Zach's behind the camera, so we're excited what the Lord's going to do and where He's going to take this, and there'll be all kind of hopefully guests and different all kind of stuff happening on here.
Yeah.
So basically, just like every podcast will pretty much be about Wednesday night, but it will also be like little topics that maybe Trey doesn't have time to like go in depth about on Wednesday nights. Like, I think there's a lot of things that pastors don't have time to talk about during like the sermon. So we'll try to bring those here, like things like sex, alcohol, drugs, things that teenagers like really struggle with. And this will just be a vulnerable space, and we'll have plenty of guests on that y'all can, talk to about the podcast, and maybe we'll have some of y'all on too.
Yeah. So if you have any questions or anything, submit them and we can tackle them.
Yeah, we can give y'all an email to send us some topics that we can teach on and just touch. So
Yeah, we'll link that down below. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.